Rama Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. On Saturday, we were trying to share some thoughts on the origin, no? The more we think about it, the more we will become closer to that power. And many of the questions that have been tormenting us, we will get some light. Initially, we may not get the answer, but some light, some revelations. Because it's only an intellectual understanding. Intellectual understanding should transform itself into an experiential learning. If we keep it at the intellectual level, it may not be of much help. So constant mananam. Papa did that constant mananam right from the beginning. That is why he brought out that quotation, beautiful. Try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. To know who you are in reality is the real quest. To arrive at this truth, you have to, by a systematized process of thought and discipline, transcend all human limitations set by the body, mind and intellect, and then, embarking on the realm of the spirit, Atman, realize your immortal, changeless, blissful nature. It is a non-traditional approach, you know. Here we are not asked to do anything else, just to think about it. First of all, where from we came. The present me and mine, which has been making us aware that it is the planner, it is the doer, suddenly tries to realize that behind the sense of individuality, there is a power which only initiated this life, every one of our life. As we have been dealing with men and matters only from our me and mine level, It is very difficult initially to get ourselves connected to this. So in the book, in a compilation called Glimpses of Divine Vision, this was chosen as the first chapter. It is captioned as what is religion, because on those days, religion was not as is understood today. It stands for, Papa himself has written in one of his books, in one of his articles, religion is a foreign word, Latin word, where the meaning of religion is to bind back to the source. To bind back to the source. That which enables us to go back to our source. That was called religion. But later on, unknowingly or unwittingly, he happened to create discord among people, under the banner of religion. So nowadays we use the word only spirituality. Because spirituality is applicable to everybody. Spirit. Without spirit, none of us exist. Anything connected with the spirit is called spirituality. So he says, try to enter into the mysterious origin. Every word we have to keep on thinking. Mysterious origin. Why we say mysterious? None of us know how it started. We were born to our parents, parents were born to their parents, parents were born to their parents. Where did it start? The first bijam, the first coconut, the first tur dal, the first moong dal, the first paddy, the first wheat. How the air came, how the earth came, how the sun came. We cannot say because of this it has come. Water. So that is why it's called mysterious origin, about which we are not aware, but it is a truth. Similarly, we are there, it is a truth. But we don't know how it got started. So a lot of manana should take place, not merely intellectual churning, and we open our eyes, we see that, then slowly we will start recognizing that mysterious power behind everything. And at that time we will realize that it is that mysterious power who gave me the seed, who gave me the life. So should I not now connect myself with that power? That is why when he wrote In Quest of God, which was his first book, before the first chapter, he defined what Ram stands for. And there he defines Ram is the subtle and mysterious power. So we are chanting Ram Nam to connect ourselves with this mysterious origin. We were not knowing, Everybody was chanting, we are also chanting. It gave us some relief, it gave us some joy, we were satisfied with it. But now, Papa reminds us, you are chanting the name of one who is within you and who is making you to chant. Because that gives just like when we open the laptop, we use a password to enter into the laptop. Similarly, we are using Ramnam as the password to enter into the realm of that power. So when we read this and when we do manana, slowly First of all, we try to recognize that there is a power beyond or behind this me and mine. Question may come, why should I know it? So long as the aspiration is not there, we need not bother. When we start bothering about it, this will give the answer. If we are satisfied with the way of things that are going on, at the moment we don't need it. And in our case, we give equal importance and reverence and faith in the words of our Master. So that might become the instrumental cause for us to go deep within. Then we learn faith and reverence for a Master. It also serves as the password to enter into it. Because these thoughts, these sublime thoughts, salient thoughts, it comes to our knowledge only because of our contact with a spiritual guru. Many of us, who are senior citizens, probably we may be hearing this for the first time. Because unless and until we come in contact with a spiritual preceptor or a guru, we may not know this. It might be there in the book. Day for a study, we were telling, in Bhagavad Gita, all these things are mentioned. We would have read Bhagavad Gita, we would have heard the discourses by various Mahatmas. The copy of the book also must be with us. But this basic thing, when Papa says go to the origin, and when we don't find any answer, and at that time when we open the Bhagavad Gita, he will direct us mysteriously to this particular stanza. Not only one stanza, umpteen number of stanzas. So that even if we forget one stanza, we may be able to understand. So today we will spend some time on those stanzas. Because repetitive hammering only will leave some dent in our mind. First one is Bijam Mam Sarvabhudanam Vidhi Partha Sanatanam Buddhir Buddhivatamasmi Tejas Tejasvinamaham. O Arjuna, know that I am the eternal seed of all beings. I am the intellect of the intelligent and the splendor of the glorious. Sarva Bhudanam. So when we see a lady's finger, beans, any chilies, tamarind, then immediately coconut, Sarva Bhudanam. When we see any insects, animals, Sarva Bhudanam. That means sentient and non-sentient. Man holds in him, Papa says, the seed of infinite power. This seed is the origin of heavens and earth, of the whole world and the creatures in it. Man holds in him the seed of infinite power. When man realizes that he is born of this seed, he opens up the channel through which flows into him the light and power of this immortal seed. That means we have to connect ourselves with that seed, the power. When man realizes that he is born of this seed, realizes, not understands, he opens up the channel through which flows into him the light and power of this immortal seed. In another sloka he says, Gadir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Suhrd Prabhava Pralayasthanam Nidanam Bijam Avyayam. I am the supreme goal of all living beings. I am also their sustainer, master, witness, abode, shelter and friend. I am the origin, the end, the resting place of creation. I am the repository and eternal seed. Each and every word we have to do the churning. Then only we will understand. Otherwise textual knowledge will be there. That will not help. It will stay at the textual knowledge. So he says, Gadir Bharta, Prabhu, Sakshi, Nivas, Sharanam Suhrade, friendship. Prabhava Pralaya Sthanam. Prabhavam, origin. Pralayam, dissolution. Nidanam Bijam Avyayam. This eternal seed. See the difference between, when we all read, then only we started thinking, because we have some agricultural background or plantation background. As soon as the seed sprouts, the seed dies. The seed in its form will not be there. But here he says Bijam Avyayam. No diminishing. Right from day one, when the power started to express itself in the form of creation, till today, it is undiminishing. One word, we start thinking. Number of plants, number of human beings, number of insects, number of animals. They are born, they go away. So this Bijam Avyayam. Like that, each and every word we have to go deep within and find out. Not through textual knowledge. We repeat 100 times, not textual knowledge. But through this text, we try to go back to our own life and the world God gave us to live in. And then we try to connect it with our daily life. Then we will be able to understand the real meaning. A normal seed cannot be immutable. A seed decays when the plant comes out. That is why a seed is called mutable. But here is a seed which is immutable. Bharta normally, is ruler, So he is the base. Because of him we all come. So he is the Bharta. He is the Prabhu. He is the Lord. Lord of the universe. He is the Sakshi, who is in us as a witness consciousness. Nivas, the abode, house, Shanti Nivas, we say, Nivas means abode, the residence. He is also the residence, he is also the owner. Suhrud. He is the friend. So we start understanding how he is friend. Because so far I have not recognized him even intellectually. I have not developed even 1% of my gratitude to him. Probably I would have even negated him. Through some form, even the insulting is also comes. But he doesn't leave us. A true friend. That means he does not expect anything from us, not even a recognition from us. Mahatma Ji, Gandhiji used to say that he is so gracious that he allows himself to be denied through his own creation. How merciful he is. So then Prabhava Pralaya, we know that. We have come from some source, That source, we name it as that unknown source. And we all know the sense of individuality floats for some time and dies. It happens to every creation. Again it sprouts. We remember when we were having paddy field, we used to do various operations there. From the seed level, it grows into paddy, and when we harvest it, however much we are careful, still a few grains will get dropped on the ground. When the rain comes, again it will sprout. So this goes, then suddenly we look at the field and understand, oh, I thought I have harvested the entire crop. No. Mysteriously, God makes it impossible for us to harvest the entire crop. Though from the harvested crop we separate seeds. When we harvest the paddy crop, after winnowing and drying it, we keep it in our granary. And then we also see that a certain portion is kept for seed. The other one we use it for our as food, or we may sell it. But the seed will be there to perpetuate this operation next year. It's a seasonal crop, every time we have to do it. There are two types of agricultural crops. One is seasonal and the other one is perennial. A coconut tree or a mango tree or an apple tree or a coffee plant, all these things are, once you plant, it will remain there for 70, 80 years, 50, 60 years minimum. We don't have to again do it. Even after the crop comes, it will continue to give us the crop. But in the case of paddy and everything, once it will give us, again we have to do the planting. See, these are all so many things we have to watch. And then he says, Bijam Avyayam. In the next sloka he says, Yachabi sarvabhutanam bijam tataham arjuna na tadasti vina yasyat maya bhudam characharam. Very important one. I am the generating seed of all living beings. No creature, moving or non-moving, can exist without me. In our language we say it is non-moving, acharam, insentient. But he gave this thought to a scientist, and he made them to bring out microscope, and now they declare even in the so-called insentient there is a movement. Vibration is still there. That is why it is remaining intact. So nowhere this is not there. Apparently it is immobile, but in reality there is also there. That is why even when our body, life ebbs away from this body, why the decomposition starts, we start thinking. Because there are some organisms, because until the dismantling takes place, all the 5 elements have been brought together. The seed means it is the decoction, it is the essence of all the five elements. Later on, when we go to the Taittiriya Upanishad, we find in an order, the other day we said, there is an order, chronological order of how these 5 elements came and how this person came. So he says, from the Atman, first came the space, then came the air, then came the fire, then came the water, then came the earth, then came the trees, plants, and from it the individual came, or a creation came. Think. So all these things are, these are all in a condensed form, micro, in the seed. So when it grows and when its period is over, the dismantling takes place, which is called death. Assembling, dismantling. Each one goes back to its own. So he says, I am the generating seed of all living beings. Only after this, we were able to understand what Papa meant by be reflective, be contemplative. And his words are, the more we become contemplative and reflective, the more we are nearer to him. This is the word he used. Because hearing or reading will not help. It is a just stepping stone. What is needed is an intense inward journey by which, the theme gets integrated with us. Because we keep on thinking immediately proportionate to our intensity, God will definitely facilitate us to understand it through the world he has projected. Through the various operations he has made us to do it. So reflection and contemplation, meditation. We did not understand at all. When Papa said, ceaseless chanting of his name, coupled with contemplation and meditation on the various attributes, it has reached before the advent of him as a mendicant. That means before 27th December 1922, when Vittal Rao, the transformation of Vittal Rao to Ramdas, and then Swami Ramdas, then Papa Swami Ramdas, all these things, it was a product of not only remembering him through chanting, by deeply contemplating upon the various aspects of that originator. Initially, none of us knew all these things. He was very particular. That is why he used that word. Seek guidance always from within. If what Ramdas says is in agreement with your inner voice, follow it. Don't accept Ramdas's suggestion without a sanction from within. The more a man becomes reflective and meditative, the nearer he approaches the true springs of life. These are his words. Origin of life. Springs means origin. The more a man becomes reflective and meditative, the nearer he approaches the true springs of life. Ramdas, through a ceaseless repetition of the divine mantra, side by side, we have to keep on remembering this because we have not practiced it, no. We are just chanting, that's all. But he says, Ramdas, through a ceaseless repetition of the divine mantra, side by side with the concentrated meditation on the all-pervading, eternal, ever-blissful, indwelling God, had attained freedom and peace even before his advent into the world as a mendicant. Many of us have read this, Hari. But we have only read, that's all. Even this word, he wants us to reflect. That is also we read, that's all. No reflection was done. Ramdas, through a ceaseless repetition of the divine mantra, side by side with the concentrated meditation on the all-pervading, eternal, ever-blissful, indwelling God. He was very clear right from the beginning. That is why in 1920 he started this journey. By 1922, only the last final photo finish, that was done after that. So, yachabi sarvabhutanam bijam tataham arjuna nadat asti vinat yasya maya bhudam charajaram. Nat asti vinat. The rudimentary shoot and root are packed up in the tiny seed. Rudimentary shoot and root. As soon as its stems comes, branches come, it's called shoots. Shoot and root. The upward and downward. Shoot is something upward, Root is something downward. The shoot and root are packed up in a tiny seed. Under favorable conditions, the dormant life content in the seed can manifest itself, and before long, the germinated seed can grow out into inconceivable heights, which may thereafter look as though they have no relation with the very seed from which it arose. That we can understand. That is why we could not connect ourselves to the seed level. Because the seed was in a different form. What we are in a different form. A tiny little seed of the tree, a mango tree or a coconut tree, which we use normally, jackfruit tree. We come to realize only if jackfruit, for example, or mango, or even coconut, suppose we don't take it, it gets dropped. Later on, if we don't open it, if we don't at all locate it, the sprouting comes by itself. So, but there is no comparison between that coconut and the coconut tree, the mango and the mango tree. Anything. That's what he says. The germinated seed can grow out into inconceivable heights, which may thereafter look as though they have no relation with the very seed from which it arose. Viewing only the finite world of plurality, to one who is mourning under the sledgehammer of change and constant death, the samsara may not show as having anything divine, infinite or blissful as the source from which it had come. These are all, these are the words of Swami Chinmayanandaji. So how beautifully presented. That is why we are unable to connect ourselves to the seed level, because none of us were aware of our seed level projection. Because this me and mine, it was not there. As it grew from the seed level, that is why we fail to connect. We, in spite of hearing, why are we not connecting ourselves to the source? Because we were not aware. And if at the initial stage, in good old days, we were told, as soon as the child attains 6 or 7 years, 5 or 6 years, they are sent to the Gurukula. All these foundations were given by the Guru there itself. And based upon that, the Purushartha is given, the four. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. The first of these ethics are given, Dharma. Then based upon that ethics, he is permitted to earn, Artha. Based upon this ethics, he is permitted to enjoy, because sense organs, sense of objects, based upon this ethics. And then when he feels still there is insufficiency in him, then he opts for that which releases him, moksha. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These are things that are given right from the impressionable age. You and I somehow were not given this. So we have forgotten the whole thing about all these things. So we grew based upon the me and mine. Every standard is fixed based upon this me and mine. We do not remember, we do not recognize that there was a beginning. And the beginning was not with this me and mine, to be more blunt. When we get in touch with a spiritual guru, after having collected so many concepts about life, must be in our 20th year, 30th year, 40th year, 50th year, 70th year. Then one fine morning the Guru says, you are not what you feel yourself to be. Then it's difficult for us to understand. Because of the big bag we are carrying, baggage we are carrying, purely based upon this me and mine. I am the planner, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, I am the sufferer, I am the gainer, I am the loser. This is how we start our life. So behind this previous stanzas, Gadir Bharta, Prabhu Sakshi, Nivasa, Sharanam, Surad. Even if we have read we could not understand. But now we are all deeply grateful to Papa. Now he has made us to think about this, to have a peep into this. So once again we will read this. Chinmayanandaji's words. The rudimentary shoot and root are packed up in the tiny seed. Under favorable conditions, the dormant life content in the seed can manifest itself. That probably we know, no? Because somebody advised us, God made somebody to advise us that sprouted is good for our health, no? So how do we get it? We put it in water. Jains don't take any sprouted matter. Because, you have kindled the life power to, and you are eating it. You have kindled it. If you have not kindled it, it's already, it is lying there. That's why he said, under favorable conditions, the dormant life content in the seed can manifest itself. And before long, the germinated seed can grow out into inconceivable heights. The greatest scientist, the greatest Mahatma, if you compare from the material level, the seed level and his level, inconceivable. The germinated seed can grow out into inconceivable heights, which may thereafter look as though they have no relation with the very seed from which it arose. Viewing only the finite world of plurality, to one who is mourning under the sledgehammer of change and constant death, the samsara, may not show as having anything divine, anything infinite, anything blissful, as the source from which it had come. Because we are fully guided by the present, the me and mine level. Beautiful word, Viewing only the finite world of plurality, to one who is mourning under the sledgehammer of change and constant death, the samsara, it may not show as having anything divine or infinite or blissful as the source from which it had come. That is why the other day, we remembered Swami Vivekananda quoting from the Upanishad word, Shunvandu Vishwe Amritasya Putraha, heirs of immortal souls. Amritam. We are the claimants, heirs, We are bound to get it because we have come from that. Birthright. So, this is how the Yachavi Sarvabhutanam Bijam Tataham Arjuna Natasti Vina Yasyad Maya Budam Characharam. There are several other shlokas. Chapter number 7, sloka number 6. Yetadhyonini bhutani sarvani tyupatarayah aham krishnasya jagata prabhava pralayastada. So the para and apara, dynamic and the static, when the happy communion or what do you call it, harmonious blending of these things have brought out this. That means the matter and the spirit. The marriage between the matter and the spirit has brought out this wonderful creation. That is what he says. So, and he declares, the Lord says, I am not only the Prabhava, I am also the Pralaya. Both the dissolution and the origin. That means the aim, everything is me only. In spiritual journey, it is mentioned that both the journey and the destination are one and the same. Very difficult for us to understand. We are moving towards God realization, that is the journey. But to move like God, that God element, God dimension should be there even when we start, So the starting point and the ending point is the same. So when he says Prabhava Pralayasthanam, into him everything goes, from him everything sprouts, in him everything sustains, This is the textual knowledge. But when we go to a beach, we sit there, we watch. Waves come from the ocean, waves stay from the ocean, it goes back into the ocean. Sargasthiti Dhyanyanti Budbudaniva Varini. In Shankaracharya, in Atmabodh, he says this, Then suddenly, we all go to beach. Do we observe this? Budbudaniva Varini. The waves come from the ocean. Waves exist for some time in the ocean. Waves goes back in the ocean. This is an eternal drama going on. Same thing applies to ours. So we start thinking. This is how the reflection takes place. To understand this, he has placed before us something for us. Oh, this is how it is. Now I will start going back to. So this is chapter. Then another one is chapter number 10. Shloka 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattas sarvam pravartate idimatra bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the ultimate sarvasya prabhavo. I am the origin of everything. And everything is acting through me only. Only people who have understood this, they contemplate upon me and then they enjoy it. And Shloka 32. Mamayonir Mahad Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham Sambhava Sarvabhutanam Tato Bhavati Bharata. I am normally we say, when mother conceives this Garbham. So I am that. And just like the mother conceived the seed in her uterus, Garbhapatram, that's called uterus. So just like that, I am the Garbhapatram and I am the seed. Mamayonir Mahad Brahma. So he himself says, I am that Garbhapatram. Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavandiya Tasam Brahma Mahadyoni Aham Bija Pradapita. These are the languages which ordinary Grihasthas will be able to understand easily, Different types of manifestations come out, but the reason for this, I am the seed-giving father. Aham bija pradapitaha. So not in one or two stanzas, there are 7 or 8 or 9. We were not able to identify more than that. Probably it might be there. So he keeps on harping on this, so that even if we lose in one stanza, we may be able to think about the next. Even if we don't mental involvement is not there, another one. 8 or 9 slokas through which he keeps on bringing this, origin. To be very honest, very frank, we have been hearing lectures on Bhagavad Gita by prominent people. We have heard this. But only when we came to know of Papa's this particular quotation, try to go to the origin of your and the world life, then only we were able to connect it with this. Until such time we were reading, we were understanding, we were just passing it on, just like any other academic knowledge. It was not helping us to go. Then we realized that only such are the words which there is a fusion between me and him. As soon as we start reading Papa's, we have also read it, we have left it aside, But when we kept on thinking about it later, as prompted by him, hey, first you understand this. If you don't understand this, all other things are superficial. You have to build up on this foundation. Without foundation, how can you erect? The foundation is your source. The foundation is the source of whatever you see. You try to understand that. Though we don't know how this compilation of glimpses of divine vision happened, because from the preface we understood that it was a book presented to Papa on his 60th birthday. But who selected the first one, we don't know. If it was from Papa, we can understand. If it was also initiated by the devotees who compiled, we salute before them, because to what extent they have applied their mind on this and how they placed this as the first one in that book. That means they were not, when they were collecting the replies of Papa from different devotees, that is how they brought this book. And they presented it on his 60th birthday, Shashti Murti Day, Bhavani Shankar Rao. So when the initiative he took in collecting, having this idea in his mind, collected all the letters from as many devotees as possible, and then to take out this particular portion, type it out, no computer, no control C, control V, no. Everything has to be typed out. And then to tabulate, to give a subheading, so that it is offered to us in a platter, ready-made. And then suitable titles are to be given. And this happened to be the first one. Really, at that moment, the thrill was too much for us to contain. What all, Papa, you have done for us. We did not make use of all these things. Not that we don't have faith in him, not that we don't have reverence for him, but still somehow it did not flash to our mind that this is the foundation upon which we have to start our spiritual journey. Better late than never, no? At least now he has made us to understand this should be the foundation from which we have to build up. So the whole today's emphasis, Papa wanted us to go to the source. So before we close, we will again read his quotation. This should get imprinted in our heart. That is the source of perennial inspiration for us. Try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. To know who you are in reality is the real quest. Because we have an image of ourselves from the me and mind level, no? But that is not the reality. That's why Papa says, to know who you are in reality is the real quest. And how am I to know? I have not known this. I have a lot of concepts about life, about so many things I have in my baggage. That is why the next line he says, to arrive at this truth, Which truth? My origin as well as my real nature. To arrive at this truth, you have to, by a systematized process of thought and discipline, reflection, contemplation, observation, experience, transcend. We have to remove, we have to erase, we have to go beyond. That is called transcend here. To transcend all human limitations set by the body, mind and intellect. All the concepts we have, the target of life, the purpose of life, all concepts have been built on this me and mine. That we have to raise ourselves over it. He says, transcend all human limitations set by the body, mind, intellect, and then embark on the realm of the spirit, the capital with which we started, the seed. Realize your immortal, changeless, blissful nature. This constitutes spirituality. More of it tomorrow. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
So when we say Ram Nam, we should start building up the connection between Ram and the seed level from which I started. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji. Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. It is very clear now. Now we start reading. Not Papa, simply reading will not help. When he says Nama is the link between us and him, we must connect it with the source. Now, please, let us all try. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Pranam, Pranam, Pranam.